National Electrical Code Article 225.31 states that each service disconnecting means shall be connected to not more than 6 service overcurrent devices, where the overcurrent devices are rated at 1000 amps or less. For overcurrent devices rated over 1000 amps, each service disconnecting means shall be connected to not more than 2 service overcurrent devices. This means that in your case, the mall's main service and the 2 services for the original stores could not be combined into one disconnecting means because the original services were rated at 480 volts and less than 1000 amps. Combining the 2 services into one disconnecting means is only allowed if the following conditions are met. Firstly, the new service is rated at 1000 amps or more. Secondly, the overcurrent devices for the new service are rated at 1000 amps or more. Thirdly, the disconnecting means is installed in a location that is accessible to the combined service equipment. If the above conditions cannot be met, an alternative solution would be to install a new service for the combined store. This new service would be rated for the total power required by the combined store. The electrical inspector's concern is likely due to the fact that the original services were installed for separate stores and may not be adequate for the combined load of the new store. By combining the services, there is a potential for overloading the original wiring and equipment. It is advisable to consult with a qualified electrician to assess the power requirements of the combined store and determine the best solution for providing electrical service. They can also ensure that all electrical installations are compliant with the NEC. A more detailed explanation is as follows. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a comprehensive set of standards designed to ensure the safe installation and maintenance of electrical systems. It covers virtually every aspect of electrical work, from wiring methods and overcurrent protection to grounding and equipment installation. The NEC is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest technological advancements and safety practices. Article 225.31 of the NEC specifically addresses the number of overcurrent devices that can be connected to a single service disconnecting means. A service disconnecting means is the main switch or circuit breaker that isolates a building's electrical system from the utility grid. Overcurrent devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from excessive current, which can lead to overheating, fire, and equipment damage. According to NEC Article 225.31, a service disconnecting means can be connected to no more than 6 service overcurrent devices if each of those overcurrent devices are rated at 1000 amps or less. If the overcurrent devices are rated over 1000 amps, each service disconnecting means shall be connected to no more than 2 service overcurrent devices. This limitation is in place to prevent overloading the disconnecting means and to ensure that the electrical system can be safely disconnected in the event of a fault. The provided situation involves a mall where each store initially has its own 480 volt service. When one tenant takes over 2 stores, they also inherit the 2 separate electrical services. The electrical inspector has raised concerns about this arrangement, stating that the combined store should not have 2 services. The inspector's concern is valid because combining 2 separate services into one disconnecting means can violate NEC Article 225.31 if the combined services do not meet certain requirements. The primary concern is that the original services were designed for separate stores with potentially different load characteristics. Combining these services without proper evaluation and modification can lead to overloading the existing wiring, equipment, and overcurrent protection devices. This can create a hazardous situation with an increased risk of fire or equipment failure. To determine whether the 2 services can be combined safely and in compliance with the NEC, several factors must be considered. Firstly, the total power demand of the combined store must be calculated. This involves assessing the connected loads, such as lighting, HVAC systems, equipment, and receptacles, and applying appropriate demand factors to account for the fact that not all loads will be operating simultaneously at their maximum capacity. Secondly, the ampacity of the existing service conductors and equipment must be verified. Ampacity is the current carrying capacity of a conductor or device, and it must be sufficient to handle the calculated load demand. The ampacity of conductors is typically determined by their size, insulation type, and installation conditions as specified in NEC Table 310.15. The ampacity of equipment, such as circuit breakers and transformers, is marked on the equipment itself. Thirdly, the overcurrent protection devices must be evaluated to ensure that they are properly sized to protect service conductors and equipment. Overcurrent protection devices should be sized no higher than the ampacity of the conductors they protect, as specified in NEC Section 240.4. In addition, the overcurrent protection devices must be coordinated to ensure that a fault on one circuit will not trip the main service disconnecting means, which would shut down power to the entire store. If the calculated load demand of the combined store exceeds the ampacity of the existing service conductors or equipment, or if the existing overcurrent protection devices are not properly sized, the services cannot be combined without making necessary upgrades. The NEC does allow for combining multiple services into a single service disconnecting means under certain conditions. One permissible scenario is when the new combined service is rated at 1000 amps or more and the overcurrent devices protecting the new service are also rated at 1000 amps or more. In this case, the NEC permits connecting up to 2 service overcurrent devices to each service disconnecting means. Another requirement for combining services is that the disconnecting means must be installed in a location that is readily accessible to the combined service equipment. This ensures that authorized personnel can quickly and easily disconnect power to the entire store in the event of an emergency. If the conditions for combining services cannot be met, an alternative solution is to install a new service for the combined store. This new service would be sized to accommodate the total power requirements of the combined store, taking into account future growth and expansion. Installing a new service would involve running new service conductors from the utility transformer to the store's main distribution panel, installing a new service disconnecting means, and providing appropriate overcurrent protection. This option would likely be more expensive than combining the existing services, but it would ensure that the store has an adequate and reliable electrical supply that meets all applicable code requirements. In addition to the NEC requirements, local codes and regulations may also apply to the electrical installation. It is important to consult with the local electrical inspector and the utility company to ensure that all requirements are met. It is strongly recommended to engage a qualified electrician to perform a thorough assessment of the existing electrical system and determine the best solution for providing electrical service to the combined store. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, experience, and equipment necessary to perform the calculations, inspections, and modifications required to ensure a safe and compliant electrical installation. The electrician can also provide documentation such as load calculations and wiring diagrams to demonstrate compliance with the NEC and other applicable codes. In summary, combining 2 separate electrical services into one disconnecting means is not automatically prohibited by the NEC, but it is subject to certain conditions and requirements. The total power demand of the combined store must be within the ampacity of the existing service conductors and equipment, and the overcurrent protection devices must be properly sized and coordinated. If these conditions cannot be met, a new service must be installed. It is essential to consult with a qualified electrician and the local electrical inspector to ensure that the electrical installation is safe, compliant, and adequate for the needs of the combined store. Ignoring these requirements can lead to serious consequences, including electrical hazards, equipment damage, and code violations.